To lose control is to lose. That is the oldest fear, the final taboo. It is the lever others use to corner you, provoke you, and strip you of authority. But consider this. What if your loss of control was not a failure, but a delivery system? What if your unraveling was not a collapse, but a precision detonation? Some structures cannot be negotiated with. They cannot be reasoned out of existence. They must be shattered. And sometimes, you must be the one who pulls the trigger. The eighth law. A tactical loss of control can be the ultimate display of it. This is the calculated eruption. The calculated eruption is not emotion. It is emotion as theater, deployed with surgical intent. It is the deliberate decision to bypass logic, to shatter expectations, and to communicate in the only language a broken system still understands. Symbolic collapse. You use it when reason stalls, when boundaries are ignored, when calm competence is mistaken for compliance. There are only 3 legitimate triggers. First, to break a logjam, when rational discourse has become an endless loop. Second, to enforce a boundary, when polite refusal is treated as negotiation. Third, to demonstrate asymmetric investment, when you must prove you are willing to lose more than the other side can afford. This is the nuclear option of interpersonal strategy. Its power comes from cost, from singularity, from irreversibility. It works because it proves something terrifying, that you are willing to burn the bridge you are standing on purpose. But mastery requires foresight. You choose the bridge, you choose the timing, and you already have a raft waiting downstream. In 16th century Korea, Admiral Yi Sun-sin stood between his nation and annihilation. Undefeated, brilliant, irreplaceable, and precisely because of this, he was destroyed from within. Jealous rivals framed him. He was arrested, tortured, stripped of rank, reduced to a common soldier. This was provocation at its absolute limit. A lesser man would have raged, plotted revenge, broken publicly. Yi did something far more destabilizing. He accepted his demotion perfectly. No protest, no bitterness, no visible fracture. He cleaned, he stood guard, he obeyed. With terrifying discipline, his eruption was inward. By flawlessly performing the role of the powerless, he created an unbearable contradiction. The most competent man in the room, acting as the least significant. The system could not hold. When his replacements failed catastrophically, the court panicked. They reinstated him. He returned unchanged. No triumph, no vengeance, only absolute authority. He did not seize control. He proved he had never lost it. You will not face torture chambers or imperial courts, but you will face deadlocks, disrespect, systems that absorb reason and return indifference. First, the business arena. Rational argument has failed. Warnings were issued, ignored. So the eruption is clean, calm, principled, final. Not another memo, a resignation, keys on the table, name removed from the structure. This is not emotion. It is a demonstrated consequence. It exposes the truth instantly. Who was essential and who was pretending to be? Whether they beg you back or not is irrelevant. The illusion of their control is gone. Second, the personal arena. A dynamic sustained by your tolerance. Politeness mistaken for permission. Accommodation interpreted as weakness. So the eruption is emotional, but the execution is procedural. Silence, then disappointment, not rage, not an accusation, withdrawal, access removed, availability revoked. Consequences are enacted immediately. This is not drama. It is a ritual demolition of a broken pattern. The other party now faces a binary reality: reform or extinction. Ambiguity ends. The calculated eruption is not for petty grievances. It is for entrenched systems, pathological dynamics, structures that survive only because you keep stabilizing them. Use it only when reason is exhausted, when the aftermath is acceptable, When the cost of endurance exceeds the cost of destruction, detonate not from anger, but from a cold assessment. The rubble is more valuable than the structure you inhabit. Sometimes, the only way to regain clarity is to shatter the mirror. You have learned to build, to anchor, and now, to demolish with intent. This is Part 8 of Power Dynamics 2, The Architect's Code. Ensure your foundation is solid by reviewing the unmovable stone in Part 7. Subscribe to complete the sequence. In the final chapter, every principle converges into a single doctrine of execution, because vision without execution is hallucination, and execution without vision is tyranny. The synthesis awaits.